I love the Alien franchise, like so many others, but it's not just that Alien is beloved, it's also respected. The entries in the franchise are practically allergic to resting on laurels of any type, which is naturally appealing to moviegoers sick of countless sequels leveraging what worked in original entries without adding new elements to the mix. 45 years in, and Alien has never really had an entry that has played it safe until Romulus. Make no mistake, Romulus is an homage to Alien 1979. While the other movies are practically oblivious to the style and tone of the original, Romulus is keenly aware of what that first movie brought to the table. It's not derivative in the same way The Force Awakens is, but it is a love letter to the original vision that Scott had. In choosing to mold Romulus after the original, Alvarez did ensure the movie's ceiling would be lowered. I think it's incredibly difficult to be shocked and entranced by Romulus if you have seen the original Alien. There's too many similarities to be truly blown away by the product. However, while Alvarez brought down the ceiling of Romulus the second he decided to make it an homage, he also guaranteed the uplifting of its floor. Alvarez inherits so many strengths from the original Alien. The singular art design of the original, which shockingly hasn't been aped that much in pop culture, is back in 21st century glory. I think this is the best looking sci-fi film since Blade Runner 2049, and it wowed me so much more with its aesthetic than either of the Dune movies released in the 2020s. The team behind the film added cool new visual ideas and put a brilliant fresh coat of paint on the old ones, and the decision to put in an old school opening credits to further replicate the original and its aesthetic is. He also inherits a brilliantly simple premise as well. A group comprised mostly of humans, but with one android have a task. Part of the group goes looking in a dark, spooky environment for some time, and then the xenomorphs come into play. The android is a perfect conduit to not just tension, but to the themes of corporate hubris as well, just like in the original. And speaking of themes and broader ideas, I don't think Romulus spends too much time in the weeds of philosophy, but when it does, it's a really interesting mix of the core ideas, the core tenets of the original Alien and Prometheus, which was a welcome surprise to me. The original had two distinct parts, everything pre-chest burst and everything post. Here, the flooded room scene is the turning point. Everything pre-flooded room may not be excellent, but we get important table setting that pays off in spades later on, just enough time with the two main leads to care when they're in danger later on, and the rest of the ensemble is fine character-wise, but they're ancillary, and just enough time to really anticipate the arrival of the main threats. What's so smart is that we also get the most variety in the scenery in the early sections. That doesn't mean you have to like that the side characters are not lively people brimming with originality, but for people like myself who loved how much the original was about visual storytelling, was about simply soaking in the scenery, it's a real treat to see that same approach in Romulus. Then the aliens come out to play. Again, Alvarez is blessed here with incredibly designed creatures that provide so many unique ways to torture this batch of protagonists. The acid, the chest burstings, the impalings, it was all there nearly 5 decades ago, but Alvarez keeps these alien encounters fresh by modifying old creatures, playing with ideas like zero gravity, temperature, and the intelligence of the xenomorphs. And the use of blood, body horror, and suggestive sexual imagery is also incredible, and keeps the aliens feeling like scary and fucked up threats that you really don't want the characters to end up confronting. And the acting is superb. David Johnson is the clear MVP, but the rest of the cast are all locked in. Their fear feels so real, and because of that, it's challenging to watch any of them meet their demise, despite the fact we really don't know much about them. Like the original, Romulus challenges our preconceived notions of how detailed we want characters to be. The way these characters react to their circumstances and the cruelty of said circumstances do plenty. Attempt to add in rich backstories to all the characters, and you get a much less lean product that puts the quality of the film in jeopardy. I am so pleased Alvarez in this regard understood the spirit of the original, even if the decision to really honor it by bringing back Ian Holmes' character is an egregious error that was equal parts distracting and ugly. Romulus may not have blown me away, but it is exactly what I expected and wanted. It is a precisely designed roller coaster of horror and action, which does not overstay its welcome or leave anything on the table. It definitely is a film constructed from a formula, but it's the formula to one of the greatest films ever made, and each tweak to the formula is clever, fun, effectively scary, or all three combined. I could watch one of these movies every single year.